the better. I am
Cool.
now recording, and this is a show, Zintle, we just call Plan of Action. And the reason, hang on, I'm just trying to get my camera straight. Right, and the reason why we call it Plan of Action is, when people have joined Value Ed, we want to know what their experiences are and what they've gone through. And we also want to know what their plan of action is. But we also want to know a little bit more about Zintle. So we'll kick off and say, welcome, Zintle, and tell us a little bit about you. Tell us how you joined, by the way. Start there.
How I joined, like what led me to joining, or
yeah, and how what led you and how you joined.
Okay, well, so I was just in a very weird place when I joined. So I recently quit my job because I just wasn't happy there. And before quitting my job, I'd quit school, which is like varsity, because I was doing a course that I wasn't happy in, I wasn't fulfilled with, had family pressures with that. So I left that, went like to working, and I worked like in a customer support role at Amazon. Didn't like that, quit that. Had a job at statistics while they were doing census. Yeah, that ended, wasn't great.
Yeah.
And then I ended up working at 5CA, which is a gaming support company, and it actually led me to what I'm doing now, which is in tech. So I just quit my job around the time when I joined, and I applied for school at Coatsbates, which was like tech. And I was just in a state of like, I'm waiting to find out if I got this bursary with the school, if I was going to get the opportunity. I wasn't doing anything for like months, and I was just really down. And I was on SA Youth, the site, and I saw like Value Ed, and I think it was the law of consent course, and it was very it sounded interesting to me. I love the law. Back in high school, I was actually in the law society at school and the debate team, so that was interesting. Yeah, big debater here. So yeah, that was just interesting to me, and it just led me to being like, okay, seems like my type of thing. And that first day, it wasn't what I thought it was. It was like so much more than what I thought it was. Just that introductory meeting with you and Tejo. It was just like, okay, so this is more than just, a law course. This is like a whole organization that does so much more. So yeah, that's just how I came to be. Yeah.
No, absolutely. And you grasped it with both hands, and haven't looked back ever since. And
Yep.
And I think that, the story that when we put out that ad, it's usually, about 100 applicants, right, who apply. But then there's about 20 people who register on Zoom, and then there's about 3 people who actually show up. So it's them kind of missing out, but you obviously took that and ran with it. So tell us a little bit about you. Where is Zintle from?
Okay, so I'm from the Eastern Cape, Mthatha. I wouldn't say it's a small town.
Oh, wow.
It's not really small. It's
No, I know it.
Yeah. So I'm from there, born and bred, grew up here, went to school here, did everything here. And but like I always was like, I want more than just here, because it's a very, I don't know how to describe it. It's a small but big town. It's a big town with small town mentalities, I guess, if you can put it like that. Yeah, and there's so many great people here, actually. So many great people come from here. But there's just not much you can do here. So my goal was to leave, and that's what I did with varsity. And that's when I found myself in varsity. It was like, discovered who I really was as a person, became more outspoken, which led to the dropping out thing from accounting. I was studying accounting. Yeah. So I left at 3rd year, which was like, most people are like, you should have just graduated. Like, why didn't you just graduate and be done with it? But it was kind of like, if I stay in this field, then I'm gonna graduate and I'm expected to do the whole CTAs, ITCs, go on, be a chartered accountant, and it's just like it's a waste of money. So yeah, that's just where I come from, and I just yeah, I love, I don't know, what do I love? I love knowing things.
Mm.
Does that make
Learning.
sense?
Mm.
Yeah, because I have a lot of varied interests. So if I named all my interests, you'd be like, okay, so those are very diverse and they don't make sense. But I love just learning about different things, new concepts, new hobbies, even just new skills. I just love learning, and I think I'm a very curious person. I'm very interested about everything. Everything I go into, I start, or my sister's like saying I'm the Google person. Like someone will say something and I immediately I'm just like I'm on Google, like, what is that? I want
Yeah.
to know more. So yeah, so I have a lot of interests, very diverse interests, and I think it just shapes me to who I am. It can become, um, I don't know how to, yeah, like it can become, what do you call it? Handicap at times. Yeah. Because when you like too many things, then you want to put your hands in a lot of things, and then you can't focus on one thing sometimes. And that's something I learned this year, like focusing on one thing and focusing on what you want to do and finding your purpose. And that's something Value Aid has helped me to do. Just kind of get me on a path that I think works for me and serves me as a person, and
Yeah.
just knowing my purpose. Yeah.
Yeah. No, fantastic, fantastic. Look, I mean, I think the strategy around having many pots or things you like is the same strategy that companies use when they've got many products. So if you take like Coca-Cola, if you take like SAB, there are lots of products, but what you focus on are the sort of 3 or 4 core things
Mm,
that eventually and invariably link the other things in without you even realizing. So I
that's
would say
true.
Coke doesn't advertise, Stony ginger beer, right? Doesn't
Mm,
advertise raspberry spaletta, right? But people drink it, right? But
mm,
it just advertises predominantly Coke, Fanta, Sprite, right? But yet it's got this entire stable of things. So I think that principle still applies. You might have different little facets of things that you enjoy, but focus on the core ones, and the other ones just tend to follow. You had a quote, or you had a quote on your poster. What was
yeah.
that? What was that? Tell us about that.
So that quote, mm, okay, can't say it word for word, but it's a line that Wanda Maximoff, so she's the Scarlet Witch in Marvel. It's a line that she says after she basically caused a lot of destruction, right? Because she's a very powerful character, right?
Mm.
And she has a good heart. She doesn't understand herself. And so people fear her. And so she basically says she can't control other people's fears. She can only control her own.
Mm.
So that's a way in which she gains control of herself and is able to overcome a lot and become the powerful superhero that we now know as the Scarlet Witch.
Yeah,
So it's basically saying what other people think of you, and any type of insecurities that they may have, that they might place on you, that doesn't matter. All that matters is what you think of yourself. And it's something that I've had to learn. Um, and it's weird because it's something that I always applied with other people, but not with myself. I used to be that person that, like, live and let live, but I forgot the live part. Like the live part where it's like
oh,
you
powerful.
live your life. And then like I'd always remember the let live where I'm like, yeah, everyone can do what they want to do, whatever you are, if you have a different sexuality, different religion, love you the way you are. But I forgot the live part, which applied to me, which is
Mm.
like you live your life. So yeah, that's why I love that quote so much.
Mm.
It speaks
Mm.
to me.
Yeah, it's a powerful thing to say, because sometimes I think that the difficulty sometimes of life is that we get so embroiled in other people's lives or other people's opinions or other people's
Mm,
views. We completely forget what our life is and what our views. And it's actually a very intentional thing to do, and a very
mm,
deliberate thing to do, to live your life. you know,
Ye-
to be conscious of what's happening around you and to be grateful and thankful and appreciative and happy. And
That's
I have the
true.
same difficulty, because I'm a tomorrow guy, right? So if the problem is solved today, I don't revel in it. I just think about my next problem that's coming. So you're always living in a problem state as opposed to living in a life state. What would you say to others about value add and joining value
Ah, what can I say? There's just, you know what? It's in the name. There's so much value in joining value add. Like you gain a lot. Even like if we go back to what we were talking about before, which is like this issue I had was concerned about what other people, think where it's like courses like the Simply Happiness course, where it's
add?
like it's just about being happy, just living and enjoying. And it's taught me so much, things like the self-mastery course and, like creatrepreneur, so much value to gain, not only in, bettering yourself, but in, becoming a better business person, business minded, knowing our legal systems, all of like stuff like that, financial, making decisions. I feel like it gives you a way to be a better rounded person overall. And in an environment where you're not really judged, you're not judged at all. You can just come, be yourself, listen, learn, ask questions, and it's just easy. Everyone is so welcoming and so supportive. And it's just a really great environment to be in. I'm so happy I joined.
No, I'm glad, and I'm so happy you did too. You're a valuable contributor to the value edian stables in Zintle, and I truly
Thank
believe
you.
that you are going to go, a long way, and you're going to pay it forward too. There'll be others who come to you in the future, and you'll be telling them your story. They'll be benefiting from that in more ways than one. What's Zintle's plans for the future in terms of her plan of action in life?
Okay, so plans for the future. Well, short-term goal is to graduate in December. So that's happening. Um, I guess medium-term goal, get employed.
Mm.
Planning to move, but like long-term goal is I definitely want to start a business within the tech space in South Africa. I feel like the tech space and specifically streaming,
Mm.
game streaming, robotics as well, is not something that we really focus on in South Africa in esports. And not only is it something fun and interesting and something that the younger generation, they watch streamers, they watch YouTubers, that's what they do. Those are the careers they're looking into. I saw a video on TikTok where they were asking young people, what do you want to be? And they said, I want to be an influencer.
Mm.
Those are the jobs they're like, they want to be in marketing, they want to be streamers, they want to be the next Ludwig, the next XQC. So I think in South Africa, we really need to focus on those and it's not just, one field where it's like you can be a streamer and all you do is game streaming. There's so many topics and such a variety of
Yeah.
things I can do. So I just want to run a business where we just bring that into focus within South Africa, make games, develop the robotics industry,
Mm.
and just entertainment in general. And then within my own hometown, Mthatha, um, this is like within the next 5 years, I genuinely want to start a program with the youth. A library, we don't really use our library here. It's empty, it's dusty. And so I've been speaking to the municipality, just what can we do to use that library and teach coding to young kids? Because
Nice.
that is really the future, coding and tech jobs are in demand. You go on any job site now and you will find so many tech jobs and so many different aspects of tech. There's such a variety. So I just want to bring that into, this town. There's no IT schools really around here. Only one
Yeah.
school teaches IT. So yeah, just them just getting the skills to code and be able to create amazing websites and apps and robots and all of that. um, that's something I'm really passionate about, and I just want to do that within my community. So yeah.
Fantastic, and you will. You've given me some ideas that you and I need to talk about. But to end off, Zintle, I just want to say once again, thank you for being the value edian that you are. I think you give a lot of tribute to the courses and things that they've done for you, but the greatest tribute I can pay you is the person who was curious enough to not only apply, create a Zoom link, but show up, and then show up again, and then keep showing up. That is what it's all about. And I really, really thank you for that. And I know you're going to make it in a big way. So we look forward to your graduation at the end of the year and some business ideas we can talk about for 2020.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Uncle Vic.
It's a pleasure, a pleasure. And you have a fantastic weekend, the rest of it.
You too.
Ciao, ciao.